Yes. Okay, so hello everyone once again. Rohit, my name is Rohit Gautam. So I am the mentor of this hackathon for web category, and we have created the challenges for every one of you, and we are also handling and managing the web category for this specific CTF. What I do is generally I teach students about web application security and bug bounty hunting, and uh, this is what I actually do in my day-to-day life on Udemy as well as other platforms as well. Now, someone asked the recordings, so yes, you guys will get the recordings of these sessions. All the recordings are uploaded on Isaac India's official YouTube channel, so everyone can download it from there. Watch it from there. Okay, so now we are good to start. So we were discussing about SQL injection. You must have heard about what is SQL injection. It is really dangerous vulnerability which occurs in websites. Okay, so we'll refer websites as web application from now. So web applications, when they become vulnerable to SQL injection, the attacker can basically try to inject a SQL query into the database, and based on that, he or she can execute harmful query and do CRUD operations. That is basically do sensitive operations into the database. This can also lead to the attacker modifying the database, deleting the database, or updating the database as well. Hence, the severity of SQL injection is considered to be critical or high, because of which the web applications should not be vulnerable to SQL injection. Now, you may be thinking that we have understood what is SQL injection and the severity is really high, but how do we do it? So we are basically going to trick the database in executing the input that we have given as an SQL query, and we will see if the database is vulnerable or no. So for this, we are going to use a platform which is intentionally vulnerable. My screen is visible to everyone. Yes, thank you for the acknowledgement. So testphp.woolenweb.com. Now this is an intentionally vulnerable web application that can be utilized for testing vulnerabilities. So here I'm going to test for one of the vulnerability, that is SQL injection today. Now here we can see that there are multiple functionalities onto a web application. For example, browse categories, from where I can browse things, browse artist, your cart, sign up, your profile, and so on. So let's do one thing. First, let's go to browse categories itself. Or let's go to home. Okay, and here I'm going to search for something. So let's say I search for Batman. Okay, I'll just zoom it a little bit more. So you guys can see I have searched for a specific string, that is Batman for now. In the URL bar, I can see that there is a parameter which has been passing. Okay, this is testphp.woolenweb.com is the domain name. This is the endpoint, that is search.php. And we can see over here the parameter is test, and the value of that specific parameter is query. Now, to test for the most basic and the easiest type of SQL injection, what we are going to do is we are going to create an error. So you can use a single quote over here, or you can use a double quote, or you can use a backward slash over here. So I'm going to use a single quote over there, and I'm going to hit enter, and I will see how the application is behaving in this manner. And you guys can see, if you look very closely, there is a warning. There's an error which has appeared, which says MySQL fetch array expects parameter 1 to be resource, boolean given in this specific path on line 61. So this confirms that there is an error which has occurred in the background. Okay, so what happened actually here was my input that was being given here, which contained an extra single quote, and it did not got balanced. Okay, hence we're able to see an error that occurred in the backend database. Now this confirms that whatever the user is giving as an input is interpreted as an SQL query. That is really very awesome. So I'm going to copy this now because I'm going to use this as my injection point and I'm going to utilize SQL Map for testing it. So SQL Map is a really awesome tool. It is an industry-wide tool for identifying SQL injection based attacks. And the best thing is it is open source. It is written in Python. That means that you should have Python installed into your computer. So I assume every one of you have Python into your computer. If not, you can download Python from the official website, that is python.org. Just go to downloads and you can download the Python latest version, which is 3.10. Okay, so now we have Python already installed into our computers. Now we are going to download this zip file from here. So I'll just click on over here and it is going to download this specific zip file and it is going to unzip for us as well. And once you download it, you will be able to see something like this. A folder will appear into your computer. Now, this is the main Py file that we are going to use to execute SQL Map. So I'm going to take this onto my terminal. Okay, so I'll just go onto my terminal. And I'll just do a ls over here to show what was inside. And these are exactly the same files that we have just downloaded. Now, I'm going to say Python and sqlmap.py. When you do this and hit enter, you will be able to see a banner message, which is this specific message, through which you can confirm this target is vulnerable. Which means SQL Map is installed. Okay, we have not yet started testing. So here we can see that SQL Map is successfully installed and there is no issues that appear. That is really very great. Now, your first step would be identifying a target. So we have identified a target, which is this test PHP, which is giving an SQL error, which means the input is being interpreted directly as a query. So let us try to identify an SQL injection from here and let us try to retrieve sensitive information from the database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this URL. I'm going to go onto my terminal back. So from now, we are going to execute a lot of different SQL Map commands with different flags. The main motive over here is that you guys understand and remember the most common or basic flags that you need to use into your day-to-day life whenever you're going to identify SQL injection attacks using SQL Map. So I will make sure that you guys remember this. Okay, so I'll be interactive with you guys and you can use the chat box as well, by which I'm going to keep on asking few questions just to make sure that every one of you are on the same page and are able to remember what we are doing currently. So the first and the easiest flag that we are going to give is -u. Now -u stands for URL. Okay, if some of you have guessed it, then really good. Now this is my URL that I have given, which is testphp.web.com search and parameter test equals to query. Okay, that is it. Now we can hit enter. Before we hit enter, I want to give --batch as well and --banner as well. Okay, now what is batch and banner? So banner stands for banner grabbing the target. That is basically fingerprinting the target, which will give us the information about two things. The first thing is the web application. What is the web application or the web server is running on? Maybe let's say Apache, and the web server CMS is XYZ. The web server operating system, if it is running on Linux, and the third is the database version. Okay, so we are basically trying to fingerprint enough information from the database by using the banner flag, which is really very important for us. Now what is batch? So we use batch to tell SQL Map to execute commands automatically for us and take decisions. Okay, if I do not use batch and hit enter, it is going to ask questions to the user. Okay, as you can see right now, it started identifying the process for banner grabbing, where it says that it looks like the backend database is MySQL. Do you want to skip the test payloads and move further? So it is asking me Y or N, that is yes or no. Then I can say yes and hit enter. Again, it is going to ask me a question. Then I'll say yes and hit enter. And again, it may ask me one more question. I do not want to do this. So hence, I'm going to say that take all the decisions by yourself as yes and move forward. Okay. Why I generally do this is, let's say I'm working on something else, maybe some other target, trying to identify or exploit another vulnerability on different window. I do not want SQL map to get stuck on a user input and do not move forward. Okay. I want it automatically to run. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add batch as well and banner as well and hit enter. Now it is going to automatically take decisions based on itself. As you can see over here, it automatically took Y and here as well Y. And now it will do different tests to identify that the web server or the website is running on which specific database. Okay. Now, one common question that you guys must be having is on which database will SQL map identify SQL injection attacks. So here is the full support for MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, Microsoft Access, IBM DB2, SQLite, Firebird, SAP, and so on. Okay, so it works on a variety of different databases. That is really very awesome. So this is one of the tool which you can utilize for different databases. Okay, so that is really very awesome, and it will definitely work out for you and would identify that if the web application is vulnerable to SQL injection or no. I hope everyone is with me so far. Let's go and see the chat box. Everyone is able to understand what we are discussing. Yes. Awesome. That's great. There's a lot of yes. That's really great. Thank you for acknowledging. Thank you so much. Great. Okay. Let's continue and let's see what's happening on our terminal. Let's go back over here. And here we can see that there are tests going on currently. So it is identifying and it will give us the results. Once it identifies the banner for the target that we have provided, that is test PHP. Now let us wait for this to complete quickly and then we can move ahead. So let us wait for this and let us see if you have any questions in the chat box until our test is completed. What if it is secured by WAF and IPS? Okay, so if our target is running a WAF, that is a web application firewall, or an intrusion prevention system, or any other prevention system, then in that case, what we can do is we can tell SQL map to use temper scripts. Okay, now what are temper scripts? So temper scripts are basically scripts which encode our payload or convert it into different formats. So the target, so it basically tries to evade detection onto the target. Okay, so temper. Okay, so once we go into temper, you can see there are different scripts. Okay, don't worry, I'm going to show you how you can use these temper scripts. So with the help of these temper scripts, what we can do is we can try to reduce the detection, and we will be able to bypass, and we will be able to evade the target, and we can identify that if the target is vulnerable or no. Okay. Will the commands be same for Windows terminal? Yes, it would be definitely exactly the same. Okay, it wouldn't change on Windows as well, or Linux or Mac OS, on any operating system you are. You just require Python on all three systems to run SQL map, and the flags or the commands will remain exactly the same. Is there any alternative for SQL map? for SQL injection attack because it takes too much time. So there are some other alternative tools as well. But SQL map being one of the tool which has been actively developed, and the fingerprints of SQL map tool and the database is really very good because it is able to do different types of attacks. Hence SQL map is considered as one of the tool by a lot of people. Hence I also recommend using SQL map. There are other tools as well that you guys can explore. SQL map is inbuilt in Kali Linux. Yes, you're correct. SQL map is inbuilt in penetration testing OS like Kali Linux, Parrot, or any other such operating system. Okay, so here we can see that we got an error which says the test is a false positive one. Okay, it says the get parameter because the get request that we have sent for the specific parameter value test does not seems to be injectable. Okay, so what we are going to do right now is I'm going to use a temper script. Okay, as we have discussed about the temper script, so we can use this specific temper script on that target, and again we will try to see if we are able to identify anything or no. Okay, in case there is any such protection onto that target that is hampering our SQL map request, then it will try to encode our payloads and will help to bypass that particular restriction that we are coming over. Okay, so let us wait for this to continue as well. Till then we'll move ahead to next thing that is over here, and let us try to understand that what are the different features of SQL map that we guys can also use. Okay, so once we identify the banner message for any specific target, the second thing that we want to identify is database. Okay, that what is the database that a specific target is running on. Okay, so let me open up my Sublime Text. Okay, so to identify the database name, we are going to execute the command which is Python SQL map.py, the target that we have provided. Okay, so let's assume my target right now is http://example.com/ let's say a profile endpoint within parameter id equals to 1. Let's assume this is the vulnerable parameter and this is a vulnerable value. Okay, now once we have identified the date, like we have to identify the database name, correct? So for that I'm going to say -dbs. Okay, so this command will identify the database name for me. Okay, now let me go back over here and I'm going to add -dbs itself over here so that it identifies the database name for me. Okay, now this target is unstable. Okay, because this is an insecure environment, so it may be a case that whenever we are doing testing and trying to identify flaws, the target might not work. Okay, so -dbs will give us the database name. So once we have identified the database name, so and let's assume the database name we have identified is Rohit. Okay, now the next thing that we are going to do over here is that once we have identified the database name, we are going to say -d and the name of the database that we want to interact with, that is Rohit. Okay, so here we can see that when I do -d Rohit, it will start interacting with that specific database. Now in this database I want to get tables, so I'll say -tables, and this way it is going to give me all the table names. Now once I have identified the table names from there, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to say so let's say it identified two table names for me. The first table name is user table and the second table name is, let's say, password. Okay, Now from these two tables, I want to identify what are the columns. So I'm going to do the same command right now, and I'm going to say -t, and I'm going to say user table. Okay, or let's assume this user is, instead of user, let's say credentials. Okay, let's call it as credentials. Let's call this as project. Okay, so I'm going to say I want to interact with credentials table now. So it will start interacting with the credentials table, and from it I want to identify what is inside this. So I'll get columns. Okay, so let's say I get the first column as username and the second column as password. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I want to see what is inside those. Okay, so I'm going to say copy the same command, paste it over here, and I'm going to say I want to get all the columns like this, what is inside them. Also, I want to download the data that is inside those columns. So for that, I will give -dump. Okay, and this way it will download whatever is inside that specific columns. Okay, whatever data is inside those specific columns for that table and that specific database. Okay, so these are the commands that we are going to use. Okay, let's go back and see. So it is still taking a lot of time. So let us keep this on and let us wait for this to complete, and let's go back over here. Okay, so these were the commands that you would use to identify the information from the database. Now I really like to use one of the flag of SQL map, that is -g. Now -g is basically, it uses Google Doc. Now if you guys are not aware about Google Doc, so let me show you what is Google Doc as well. So Google Docking is basically utilizing smart Google queries to get information from this specific search engine. So let's say I want to identify login pages. So I'm going to say in URL. Okay, I'm going to say in URL : /admin. Okay, and login.php. Okay, and hit enter. Okay, you may get a message like this, but that is fine. You guys can see over here, this is a special Google Doc query that says in the URL of website, if it matches this specific endpoint, that is admin login.php, then it should give me the results. So you guys can see we have got these many results. Okay, and these are all the websites wherein I can identify the admin login, and that's really great. Okay, so by using a simple Google Doc query, I can identify admin login. Now if I use a query something like this, which is bank.php and ID, this way I will get those websites that have bank.php endpoint and also an endpoint that is ID, and I will try to see if they are vulnerable or no. Okay, so let's assume, and let's open up this target. Okay, and let's say ID equals to 911. I'm going to break the context of the SQL query, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, if you are able to see any error message over there, then you can assume that here it may be vulnerable because we are not able to see the exact same page that has been loaded by that specific target. Okay, now let's say I replace this with shop product ID equals to 1. Okay, and this way we can use any specific target. So let's say I use again a target which is, let's say we got the same target, that is test PHP, using Google Doc search. And here let me log in into my account, that is username password test. Okay, and here let's say if I'm able to basically generate an error over there, yeah, you guys can see there's a parameter pick and the value is 1. So let me just add a backward slash at the end, and we can see, yes, we are able to generate an error over here as well, and that's really great, which indicates that there could be a potential vulnerability lying over there. So You guys can use a doc like that. So you guys can see I have used a doc over here and hit enter. So when you do this, you can see SQL map says found 86 results for your search doc expression. 72 of them are testable targets. Found in total 72 targets, and it will start testing all those targets one by one. You can see the target number first out of 72. The URL is berkeleysrecycling.org page.php id equals to 1. Do you want to test this URL or no? So you can say Y for yes, N for no, Q for quit. Okay, and this way it will automatically start testing all those targets that it has identified for that specific Google Doc. Okay, now one thing I want to mention is you should only test for those targets which has a bug bounty program or which has a RVDP program, which has a responsible vulnerability disclosure program. Why? Because when you identify these flaws or these vulnerabilities on target, and definitely when you're going to report them, okay, if they are not having a bug bounty program, then they will not basically acknowledge you for whatever vulnerabilities you have identified. Okay, also I do not recommend hunting on or maybe identifying vulnerabilities on live programs which do not live websites which do not have a bug bounty program for a specific reason. That is that those targets are not ready, or those organizations are not ready for anyone to do these types of security testing. Okay, there may be potentially a cause wherein the vulnerability that you are identifying on the website may break something in the back end. Okay, so for that reason we generally do not recommend on testing on other different websites that do not have a bug bounty program. Okay, so keep this thing in mind, always pick bug bounty programs. And if you may ask how can we identify bug bounty programs, that is very simple. Just go on chaos.projectdiscovery.io. So once you go over here and you scroll down here, you can see recon data for public bug bounty programs, and here you can see there is a list of in total 561 bug bounty programs which you can test for. You can see all programs, new subdomains, HackerOne program, Bugcrowd. So HackerOne and Bugcrowd are crowdsourced platforms that can be used for doing bug bounties. Similarly is Integrity. These are self-hosted programs, which means they are not hosted on platforms like Bugcrowd or HackerOne, but they are self-hosted on and have their own private program with rewards, not rewards, and offers swag. So I'll just click on all, and you can see in total we have 561 programs. So you can choose any one program. So let's assume Accounts Grow. This is one of the program on Bugcrowd. You can just click on this button, the cloud button, and it will identify and download all the URLs for you that you can see over here. So let me just zoom this a little bit for you. Okay, so you can start testing on these programs. Okay, these programs which have bug bounty policy. Also, you can see all their target domains and subdomains. You can verify which are in scope and policy, and you guys can utilize and start testing on them. Okay, now let's assume you have identified a flaw onto that specific program. Just click on Accounts Grow, and once you click on that, it will redirect you to the page where you can submit the report that you want. Okay, so you can see over here, you can click on Submit Report for any vulnerability that you have identified. Okay, this way this will be really helpful for you to identify potential programs, and you can start testing for whatever you are learning so far today, or maybe in all the workshops. Okay, and this way you guys can also do bug bounties. Also guys, remember, you guys can utilize whatever you are learning in these workshops for your hackathon as well. Okay, this can be helpful into your challenges and the CDFs that you're going to solve. Okay, this the main motive is to make you guys aware about what are the tools and what are the techniques and different ways that you guys can exploit a specific vulnerability or solve or identify a specific vulnerability that is going to help you solve the challenges. Okay, is this clear guys? Have you guys understood how you can do identify public bug bounty programs from chaos.project discovery? Please acknowledge me. Everyone is with me. You're on the same page? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Great. Great. There's a question. I'll take that question quickly. What will be the level of CTF? Is there any machine on which on Wallen Hub that we have to solve? So um, the level of the CTF is basically divided into three parts. The first part is easy, the second one is medium, and the third one is difficult. So there are three different types of challenges that you will be getting. Okay. Now for web category, there are vulnerable web application that has been created that needs to be solved. Okay. And there are for secure coding, there are different tasks that needs to be done, and for SDR there are different tasks that needs to be done. I'm aware about what needs to be done into the web security part. And for one of the vulnerability, you will have to be downloading a machine that is a virtual machine, and you have to solve that specific virtual machine. Okay, that is in one of the tasks. Other challenges will be based on web. Okay. What is the best guide for beginners to start with bug bounties? Now, this question is a really very common question which has been asked by a lot of people. So what you can do is you can start learning about few things in the beginning which is very important for you. The first would be learning about OWASP top 10. Okay, specifically if you want to start your journey in bug bounties, you should learn about web security vulnerabilities. Okay, or what are the most common software issues that occurs in majority of the web applications. Okay, so you should be clear about OWASP top 10. They have recently released the latest version, that is 2021. You guys can have a look at that. Okay, so OWASP top 10 2021, this is must. You should understand all the top 10 vulnerabilities that have been given over here. Okay, and you should also practice them. Okay, how are you going to practice it? There are two ways. You can just search for OWASP broken web applications. You can download this. Okay, and here this is basically created by OWASP itself, which contains vulnerabilities in different web applications. Okay, so there are I think around 9 to 10 vulnerable applications inside this VM that you can download and host. This is a screenshot. You can see WebGoat, Zap, DVWA, Mutilday, Ghost, WebSef, WebGoat, and Juice Shop, etc. Okay, so I would recommend highly understanding OWASP. Second, after you have understood OWASP, practice it on these broken web application. And I also recommend using Portswigger Web Security Academy labs. Okay, Portswigger Web Security Academy. Now, this is a free training platform that you can use for practicing the labs. Okay, so you can see all labs SQL injection. So you guys are learning SQL injection today. Try to solve these labs. Once you solve these labs, you will get more idea of how the vulnerability works like, and you will be able to do an hands-on approach. Okay, so if you do hands-on practicals, that is definitely going to be super useful for every one of you. Okay, so this is what you can do. Okay, apart from this, in case you are interested in trainings, live trainings, so we also host live trainings. That is, we recently are having a program that is certified bug bounty researcher. So in case you are interested into this program, you guys can enroll for this program as well. That is the bug bounty certification program, in which there is a training, and after the training you have to appear for an exam, and after you clear that exam, you will be able to get acknowledged that you are a certified bug bounty researcher by National Security Database. Okay, here you will also be getting labs, that is CyberInch labs, that you guys can use to solve, and you will be getting a lot of different examples on lab and live websites as well. Okay, so in case you are interested into this, you guys can have a look. This is a paid program, but it is optional for you guys. If you're interested and you want to move ahead and learn about bug bounties and stuff and make your hands dirty into it and really want to start earning bounties, that you can have a look at it. Okay. These are free resources, that is Portsuger and OWASP broken web applications. Definitely have a look at that as well. Okay. So second thing was this, and third is reading write-ups. I highly recommend reading InfoSec write-ups. Okay, just go on InfoSec write-ups and you guys can read other write-ups by different bug bounty hunters. Okay, why? Because we learn a lot from other people, okay, of how they have identified a specific bug or a vulnerability and how we can reproduce it. So you can just come over here and you can keep reading reports about how people have identified issues. So you guys can see all resources in one video, SQL injection, XSS, and so on. Okay, make sure you utilize this as well for your reading purposes. Okay, so these were some of the resources, and the last resource that I want to mention is HackerOne.com Hacktivity. Okay, so you can come on HackerOne.com on their Hacktivity page. Now, Hacktivity is basically the activity by security researchers to when they identify security issues, they have been reported to the programs. As you can see, reflected XSS in TikTok endpoints, bounty paid $4,500. Now this is a disclosed report for you guys. So you guys can come over here and you can try to see how the researcher has done it. Some reports would be redacted. For here we cannot see what was the issue and how they have interacted into the web application and what is the communication happening between the triger and the researcher. But you can see most of the reports that are disclosed and you can learn from them. Okay, so make sure you utilize HackerOne Hacktivity as well, and it is going to be definitely useful for you. And after you have done all the steps, I definitely will recommend you to go ahead and start identifying flaws that on bug bounty programs, or you can pick up private bug bounty programs first, and then you can move on to platforms like Bugcrowd or HackerOne. Okay, all right, let's get back to our terminal. And it's really awesome. We have identified the database, which means the target is vulnerable, and we can confirm for here that yeah, there is also a database name that we are able to see. So the database name is AquaArt. So I need to interact with this specific database. So I will say -d, as we have already discussed about how we are going to interact into a database after we have identified. Yes, so let's say I identified Rohit, so I'm going to say -d Rohit. Similar to this, we have identified this, so I'm going to give the name as this, and next I'm going to say --tables. Okay, so I'm going to use --tables now and paste it over here and hit enter. Okay, so let's do this once more and let's remove this and banner and again hit enter. So it is saying no tables found for some specific reason. Let us try to see once more. Sometimes you may see this results when you're testing on these intentional vulnerable applications, because sometimes the target does not behave stable. Okay, so there are definitely tables over here. Just a second. Yeah, so you can use --tables, and similarly once you get the table names, you guys can use the table names and then you can interact and you can also download the data from there. Okay, this was one of the easiest way of doing SQL injection on a specific target. This was get based. Okay, now I want to show you guys how can you do post based as well. Okay, so what is post? First of all, what is the difference between get and post? Are you guys aware about it? Get and post. So these two are HTTP methods that is used in web applications. This is my burp suite that I'm going to just start. Okay, so what is the difference between get and post? Let me just explain it to you. Okay, so get is basically when the client is requesting for a resource from the specific target. Post is when the client is basically trying to send some post data or body to a specific target, that is, let's assume username and password onto that specific target. Okay, so this is post. What we have done so far is get based SQL injection. Let's quickly see post based as well. So I'm going to quickly configure my burp suite on 8081 port, and let's see. Let's try to reload this target. Okay, so the target has successfully opened over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. Why? Because I want to test for post based SQL injection. I see a lot of people, they test for get based, but they do not test for post based. So you guys should also always try to test and target on post based SQL injection as well. Okay, so let us just quickly try to log in into this specific target, and I'm going to say username is test, the password is test. It is already mentioned over here. Let me just hit on login. Here you can see the name, credit card number, email, phone number, and this is a post form. Okay, my profile. Now I'm going to do intercept on, and I'm going to update this, and you guys can see this is a request which is going on. I'll send this request to repeater, or maybe I'll copy this request from here. Okay, if you look very closely into this request, this is the post body that has been passing username, user credit card, user email, and so on. There's a cookie as well which has been passing, that is login cookie, and the value is test person2f test, that is the username and password. I'll send this request to repeater. So repeater is a tab wherein I can send the request and I can repeat the request as many as times I want. Okay, if you look very closely over here in the cookie, what if I want to check if the cookie is also vulnerable? So I'm going to give a single quote over here and hit send, and you guys can see, okay, so the cookie is also vulnerable over here. That means I can utilize this specific request to identify post-based SQL injection as well. So let's see this quickly as well. So I'm going to create a file using Nano. So let's say I call the file as request.txt and I paste it over here. And this is the cookie that I want to test for. So this is going to be my injection point. So I'm going to add a star over here and save this. Once I save this, I'm going to say Python, again SQL map.py. And this time I'm not going to say -u. Instead, I'm going to say -r, that is read the request, post request file. I'm going to say -batch -banner and -dbs and hit enter. Okay, now it will automatically read that file, that is request.txt, and it will say we have identified a custom injection marker, that is star, into the headers, user agent, referrer, or cookie. Do you want to process it? So it will automatically process it, and it will then try to do all the tests. And we can confirm over here that it was successful, and we have identified the target to be vulnerable, and we have identified the name of the database as well. Okay, so I hope you guys understood this. Always make sure that you test for post-based SQL injection as well, that is reading the body as well. Okay. Everyone is clear? Please acknowledge me into the chat box. The approach, the steps. Okay, that's really great that you guys have understood. So just keep this in mind whenever you're doing this, get based, post based as well, and utilize SQL map as much as you want. Okay, that's great. I'll stop sharing now, and I would like to call upon Miss Sheba. Please, if you can come along. So she is from Isaac, India, and she want to interact with every one of you. And please, please come. I have given the access to you. Ma'am.
Yes, Rohit. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm Shiva Shivakumar. I'm one of the coordinators with ISEC. So I hope you all know about this training sessions which are happening as a part of the hackathon. It is called Sainya Ranashetram, which is an Indian Army annual cybersecurity hackathon, and it's organized by Military College of Telecommunication Engineering, Rashtriya Raksha University, and Information Sharing and Analysis Center. So this is a battlefield where you can prove your cybersecurity skills to defend your country from cyber attacks. As a part of this hackathon, every week we have free hands-on workshops which are conducted to upskill the participants for competing. So you can, like how you have started attending, please do attend all our sessions. We have 3 sessions, 2 on Sundays and 1 on Wednesday. And undergraduate Indian engineering students and defense personnel can only apply for this hackathon. It's a free event and one will be issued a certificate of participation once you reach the final stage. And it's an opportunity to win also prizes worth 15 lakhs and a national recognition to the winners. The registrations are on till November 10th. And you can also interact with the mentors in the community forums and also attend free workshops to upskill yourself. Thank you. And all these workshops are uploaded in our YouTube channel of ISEC. So any workshop you're missing, you can always go and see the recorded sessions there. And as Rohit had told you, we have a very fantastic program, a bug bounty program every month happening with ISEC. Please do visit our website and get the details and do enroll yourself if you're interested for it. Thank you so much, Rohit and Shifa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Shifa, for joining. So I hope everyone understood about what is SQL injection. Everyone understood the objective of this hackathon that has been hosted. Who are the people can participate into this? You guys can get the resources from ISAC India's official YouTube channel. Okay, and you guys can also connect with different mentors for different streams. Okay, there is other 2 streams as well, as ma'am has already expressed, that is SDR and secure coding. Related to web, me and Shifa are the mentors, so you guys can feel free to connect to us anytime. You guys are also connected and got access to the community from the official website, so feel free to ask questions there as well anytime that you have. Also, you guys can also get in touch with us anytime in case you want to have any queries, so feel free to ask us. You guys can get in touch with us on LinkedIn and Twitter as well. Okay, we are available and would be ready to help every one of you in that case. Okay, all right, so this is it for today. We are going to wind up today over here, and in case you have any questions, let's take up that quick questions before we end this today's session. You were really very great, so thank you so much. Thank you so much everyone for joining. We had 180 participants, so that's really great. It was really exciting to connect with all of you. Your answers were really prompt and spontaneous, and that is really great. I like students who are really very interactive, so that's again really very great. Okay, so NCIIPC links have been given. That's really great. In case you want any information regarding the CTF or the hackathon, please feel free to visit the website. All the mentioned details are given over there. All CTF levels are of web or something else like cryptography. So in web, there is no cryptography included, but there are different attacks, different advanced attacks which have been merged and changed that you need to solve. Okay. Will the same webinar be conducted next Sunday, or will have different topics? So each day it's a unique webinar, and each day contains a new topic. Okay, so none of the topics gets repeated. You will get new topics for each workshop. So hence we request everyone to do not miss any of the workshop day, because if you miss any of the workshop day, you may be missing something which is super interesting. Okay, although definitely you can get all the recordings from the YouTube channel of ISAC India, but we recommend that you connect with us and you interact with us so that we can solve your questions over here. And in case you have any doubts, you can ask, and other people can also see what are the questions that you're having and help you solve it as well. Okay. Can we get a certificate of webinar? So I'm not sure about that. The ISAC team would be
No,
about
Gautam,
this.
we don't issue
What do
any
we get
certificate
for
for
attending
attending
this
the
workshops as a
webinar.
reward? So
Rohit, I just
definitely
want to
one thing that you
clarify,
get
they don't get
is
any certificate for the
knowledge.
webinar.
If ma'am could please answer this question.
No,
Shiva
Rohit,
ma'am?
we will not give any issue any certificate for the participation in the webinars. Can you hear me, Rohit? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yeah, we don't issue any certificate for these training sessions. Is that clear?
Yes, so definitely all of you, well, you must have heard, ma'am. So we are not issuing certificates for this, but definitely what you get is knowledge from this, and which you can definitely implement into your day-to-day bug bounty methodology, as well as these challenges that you're going to solve when the hackathon is going to get live.
There is a question like when it will be uploaded. Maybe by tomorrow evening it will be uploaded in the YouTube.
So there's a question which is repeatedly asked: can we join Indian Army as a hacker? If someone is spamming the chat box. So definitely there are a lot of opportunities that you can do when you get certified as an ethical hacker. When there are different roles as well that you can that you can get. That is security consultant, or maybe security analyst, and so others. Okay, so definitely if you want to jump into cybersecurity, there are specific roles that you need to do. There's no such role called as hacker anywhere out there. Okay, and there are specific roles as well, and specific duties that you need to perform in certain areas. Okay, so let's say I'm interested into web security, so I'm going to go and learn about concepts about web security, that is websites. Or maybe if I'm interested in mobile, so I'll do mobile application security, cloud security, and so on. Okay, so there is no generalized term or a job role called as hacker anywhere. Okay, there are certain rules and levels that you need to understand, and you can look up. There are various articles online that you can read about how you can join organizations based on these specific job roles. Which certification is necessary to join this hackathon? So there is no certification as such necessary to join this specific hackathon. There are some questions based on certifications which people are asking. It's again your call. Definitely you guys can explore about what certifications are right for you, what are the curriculum and syllabus, and based on that you can move ahead. I would definitely not call out for a name for a specific certification and say this one is right for you, or if you do this specific certification, there's a magic potion that you will drink and you will land a job, or maybe you will get superpowers. Okay, that is definitely not the case for any certifications you do. Yeah, there are certain certifications through which you learn about good concepts regarding specific domain, that is web security, or maybe IT infrastructure, system security. So you have to go understand about the curriculum, and if it suits you, then you can definitely appear for that specific certification. Okay. Okay. Does the content for the workshop is similar to that of OSCP for offensive security? So what we are doing right now in this workshop for web categories, web security concepts, OSCP does not contains a lot of web security part. It focuses most majorly on IT infrastructure and system security, Linux security, AD part. Okay, what we are focusing towards is web security more. Okay. Scope of digital forensics in India. So yeah, there is definitely a lot of scope of digital forensics in India and abroad as well. If you're thinking to make a career in digital forensics, then yes, there is a lot of scope already, and organizations do hire for positions that is cyber forensics, and you can definitely look ahead into it. All right, so here we'll end up the session. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I hope I tried answering all of your questions, but definitely it wouldn't be possible in such short time period. So in case I have missed your questions, feel free to ask these questions on the community that you joined from the official website. Okay, and I would definitely be looking forward to answer all of your doubts. Once again, thank you so much everyone for joining. Thank you Shifa for joining, and thank you Shiba ma'am for joining as well and sharing your insights. Let's meet once again, guys, everyone, in the next session. That is the next workshop on the next Sunday for a web category. Okay. Once again, thank you everyone for joining. I hope you guys understood and learned something essential from today's session. Stay safe and take care. Thank you.